Dear students, today in this session, we will be talking about situational leadership. The word itself is very clear. It speaks that the leadership which is executed during different situations is very, very important. Now, what exactly do you mean by different situations? Well, in our day-to-day life, we come across different situations and we have to apply different kind of solutions to solve them. And this variety of solution walks in out of an individual after the individual has gathered observation, has evolved an answer for it, and applied it rightly in terms of practical situation. So therefore, if a candidate is well exposed or well versed and full of knowledge, plus full of right sense of common sense traits, the candidate is able to solve them. So here we are to discuss that, and here we are to rejuvenate your common sense and logic back to action. So I hope you can understand that. So here we go. There's the first situation which often you come across in service selection board interview or in your different kind of interviews. Number one is SRT. During the examination days, he had studied till late night and he was just about to doze off when cries of fire and help reached his ears. Now here they have given you a priority that you have your exams, which of course for a student is very important. And at that point of time of the exams, suddenly late night he hears that there is a fire, help and other things there. So what will different students do? Some of them will be very focused in their exams. They will think, well, I'll tell the others and let them do it and go off to sleep so that I can give exams. Number one. Is it the right way? No, I don't think so. But for a boy or a girl who is full of responsible attitude, has stamina, would certainly not delegate the responsibilities in this emergency, but react to it. So what they'll do, they will rush up to the site. If it's a small fire, control it. If it's big, alert others, alert family members, neighbors, inform the fire brigade. But along with it, at that point of time, help in controlling the fire from spreading, remove inflammable items, save people trapped, give medication if necessary. All these kind of different thoughts will come. Of course, it is implied that after the thing is over, which will take maximum an hour or two, you can return back and go and give the exam. Now you feel that then how can a person be stable? Well, there are numerous people who study the full night and yet go and give a good exam. So it's all about your way of approach. If you've got the stamina, if you understand the emergencies, if you have got the sense of responsibility, you will do it that way. So this is what exactly the situation speaks. Now we come down to the second situation. He happened to visit his uncle in the forward areas. When the war started, his uncle's bunker was bombed. Now what do you mean by uncle's bunker was bombed? Now they're trying to give you a situation. They've not specified that uncle has been seriously injured. They've not specified that has uncle passed away, or they've not specified anything. But they've given you the freedom to identify, to perceive, to visualize. So here when you answer that he will rush to the bunker, try to help them out, see if somebody is injured, give them the first aid, move them to safer area. If the bunker is still safe, move them to that zone. And thereafter, realizing that it is war, be alert, be careful, help uncle also. Now in this condition, your visualization is positive. And in one condition, if you write that I will immediately get the body out of uncle or get the other people out. No, what are you doing? You are implying it. It's not given. So this is the psychological visualization one does. I don't say that you should always have extremely positive attitude, but positive attitude is must. Because if you will visualize extremely negative, then automatically it will depress your action. It will subdue your action and the right action will never follow. So keep your hope alive, keep the leadership alive and perform well. Now here we go down to situation number 3. Though his joke was well meant, his friend became angry and so he. Now, see, I had good intention, but you got angry. So what do? I say, to hell with you, that's your problem. No. If I really bother about the communication, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you understand. With politeness, I will say sorry, though actually I'm not, because I did not do it. But then my humbleness, my intelligence tells me that I should say sorry. That sorry, you have misunderstood, but nevertheless, I didn't mean so. If you've hurt, I'm sorry. And this is exactly the right meaning. This is the way you should solve the problem. Rather than thinking that when I was not wrong, then why should I be blamed? And that's unfortunate. So please try to understand that. I hope you can understand this, and this way you can solve the situation. So when you write with the right perception, not only your situation is solved, but we also get a psychological insight into your personality, and thus identify the kind of person you are. So I hope you understand that. Now we come down to situation number 4. He was rather young when his father was killed in the war and his mother kidnapped by anti-group. They've given you a visualization that his father is dead. Now there are some people who panic that the father, oh, my father is gone. Now that's unfortunate. So what are you doing actually? You actually, just a sec. Yes, you actually are overreacting to it. It's okay. I agree that these emotional conditions do disturb people, but then you got to be strong to overcome it. So here you have to be keeping your head straight, and you will understand that his father's chaos. First he'll complete the rituals. Now mother has been kidnapped by anti-group, so what are you going to do is, of course with the help of police, relatives, friends, rescue the mother, get her back home, and thereafter try to normalize the condition, try to pick up a job, try to help the mother get well, resolve the conflict with the anti-group, and this kind of answers you can give. So though this thing is being given, but your visualization is basically a check of your psychological perspective. So let's go to the situation number 5. We have, in a free period, he wanted to study, but his friends were continuously disturbing him, and he. Now here, there is something. There are people who are very egocentric. There are people who are very self-centered. They feel that if they're doing something, the others should not do it. But this is very natural that you may have clashes of activities. Somebody is doing something, you are doing something, and the other person is trying to interfere. At that point, adjustment, adaptability, effectivity, all works. So what you can do is, he wanted to study, he will request his friends that they can play nearby. In case they want to play there, then he will move himself to some place where he really wants to study. If it is important, if it is that important. However, if he can afford to study later, he will stop it and join the friends and later study. Now all these answers speak how you adjust to the condition and how you adapt to the condition, keeping a proper focus of what you really want to do, rather than force the others to change according to you, because that is exactly never going to happen. The more you're going to adjust to people, the more you're going to adapt to the people, you're going to do well. So I hope these 5 SRTs will give you a true picture. We'll be coming up with other situations just to help your common sense and logic alive, rejuvenate them to fluidity. Dear students, continuing on with the situational leadership program, and we are at SRT number 6. Now what exactly does this SRT really speak? One of his classmates had wrongly reported against him to the principal for abusive language. Now here they have tried to put you into some kind of egoistic situation, certain type of stressful situation, and they want to see how you emotionally react to these things. They want to check your maturity, and they want to check how you really handle it. There are some people who are not capable, they get sensitive to everybody's statement. But there are people who are very capable, they don't get sensitive. Now for example, if somebody abuses someone, does it make any difference? Not that we have to be shameless, but does it make a lot of difference that we get stressful? Rather, why can't we use our wisdom to sort it out? Basically because our potential is less. Go back to an observation from your day-to-day life, you'll find that the Prime Minister of India, or maybe the President of the United States of America, or anybody for that matter, would be getting a lot of abuses and a lot of comments. But that gentleman tends to focus on the work. So we are expecting from you. If your girl is wrongly reported against for abusive language, You got to be cool. You don't have to say that why. Okay, the point, the hidden part is already wrongly reported. So you know that it is wrong. So you can be polite and go down to the principal, tell the principal that it is unfortunate. No, I have not done it. Give your elements of what makes you say that. Identify who must have done it. Clarify the matter and sort out the problem with the girl. Now there are people who are basically always having, say, some kind of reservations against opposite gender. It can be a boy also if the girls are addressed. So there you don't have to be so, obsessed with that point of opposite gender. You got to be relaxed. Working shoulder to shoulder with each gender is the new trend. We cannot have reservations against the opposite gender whatsoever. So we got to be calm, sort it out, tell the principal it is not so, and solve the matter. Writing it in minimum words is your challenge. You have to write it in minimum words. Now there are certain times a question was put up to me by you students, why don't you write the answers? No, I don't want to make you learn answers. I want to make you understand the answers so that you can come up with the real answers of your own. So remember that, particularly the last bench is there. Remember that. So what you got to do is that you got to remember that we will go there, coolly, calmly observe, or tell the principal it is not so. Identify the location, the occasion, rectify the misunderstanding and solve the problem. So you can do that. I hope that's clear to all of you. Now we come down to situation number 7. The last day of submission of application forms has come. There is a small error, deliberately done to pick your attention, has come, but one of his testimonial was yet unattested and the clerk refused to accept his application. Now look at that. What are they doing? They are trying to see how you are able to generate convincing power, how you are able to have resourcefulness, how are you able to handle a stressful situation. So here, the last day is there, one of the testimonial is not attested, clerk is refusing, request the clerk, immediately approach the principal or the other authority to help in that matter. In case the testimonial is not there, run your mind, request your friend to immediately send it. These days you have all the number of resources like mobile, WhatsApp, get it in that, and thereafter prove it, or maybe genuinely submit some mortgage to the clerk that I'm genuine, please accept this, otherwise don't return, and rush and get the testimonial back. Now all this kind of emergency management comes to a person who has done it, who is resourceful, who is intelligent. But there are some people who have the surrendering tendency. They would not run their mind. Agreed that in the last come last or worst come worst scenario, the testimonial will not be received. Never mind. But still, your efforts are what we want to look at you. What we want to look at. We want to look at how you really manage your efforts at that point of time. Are you able to multiply your efforts? Are you able to think on different dimensions to solve the problem? That's exactly what we're looking at. So I hope you've got the point. So now here we go down to situation number 8. He was required in Varanasi at the earliest, but when he reached the railway station, again there's small error, but please take it in the right spirits. The station, the train was overcrowded and he had a 48-hour journey to cover, not convert, cover. I'm sorry, these clerical mistakes do happen, but my idea is not to go into that, the entire aspect. But I want to really solve your problem in the sense that I want you to go ahead with this, not convert, cover, so you can identify. Now what exactly is there, what are they looking at? Pay attention to that. They are identifying that you have to reach early. The overcrowded train is there, 48 hours. There are some people who are very poor in adaptation. They are very poor in tolerance. They are very poor in stamina. And these people would never dare to go on a 48-hour journey in a crowded train. Why? Because they want a reservation, they want to sit comfortable. Come on, nobody's dying. There will be certain amount of uncomfort, and that also provided if you are resourceful, you are strong, if you are polite, if you are requesting, the ticket collector may give you a ticket in between or a seat in between. But there are some people who are not positive, they are negative. They think that, oh my God, I've got to travel 48 hours journey, all into trouble. Well, I'm sorry to say that this is how we decode your psychological thought process. We want you to be positive. If they have to reach earliest, yes, there is one more good answer. Yes, agreed, plain. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. One of you can also say this, that why not we travel in a flight and reach earliest? Because we have to reach earlier, take out from our savings and invest it, because the task is more important than the saving. Good point. But if you don't get that, then what are you going to do? You're going to travel in the same train, manage, adjust, and request the TT in between if you get in any of the station, if some passenger doesn't come, to get a seat. Now this is called a very simple, basic, commonsensical, logical answer, but with a positive approach, but with a belief to solve the problem, not to think that the problem is beyond control. So remember that, and that's exactly what they are expecting from you. Are you going to be adaptable? Can you live in all the kind of situations? Can you manage discomfort, even if it is 48 hours of journey? You can. So please do that. Write a good answer for the same. Now we come down to your situation number, situation number 9. It was 12 o'clock in the early morning when he was startled. Startled means surprised, shocked, to find a big cobra near his brother's cot heaver. Now in this situation, what are they looking at? They're looking at it's late night, but you have a sudden shock situation. What are you going to do? There's nothing to do. Intelligence has to survive. You have to give the answer with a sheer commonsensical, logical, and alert reaction. What is it? You will automatically, it with his brother's cot, and you wake up your brother, possibly he may step on the cobra. So what are you going to do? You're going to take a stick or a cloth and move the cobra away from the cot. You have to think positive. You cannot imagine that he'll climb the cot or something like that. Even if it does, you can move it away. When it is trying, bang it up, out. Once it is in a distance, wake up your brother, together kill the cobra. Now there are some people who would say that why should I kill the snake? Why not just see? Snake is one of the most vicious animal on the earth. It is the only animal which has a tendency to eat its own child. So it's one of the most unbelievable kind of thing. That is why some people say, are you a snake personality? That means, are you a person who cannot be trusted? So here we are talking of it. So if you do all those silly experiments, you not only imperil your life, but maybe that the snake may bite you. And you may, instead of standing figure on the earth, you may become a picture on the wall. So please remember, what you got to do is act intelligent, kill the cobra. And that's easier from a distance with the help of stick, and this thing you can kill it. But trying to catch it, because the snake is not going to trust you, it's going to be difficult, and probably you'll get bitten by the snake. Okay, if it is open area, it's going away, okay, make sure. But then thereafter, next day, make sure that it doesn't come down again. Other people will get affected. So you got to make sure. So kill that. That's a better, clear option. And particularly for the armed forces people, particularly for a decisive leadership, you got to think beyond. You got to think something more when the life will follow on the others. If you are a real father, you will always worry for kid, not for today, but also for tomorrow. So remember that. That is why I'm trying to explain you. You can write it in simple, and I think you'll get it. You'll get some solutions in my PDF also. That will be short and precise. But explaining is important. Understanding is important. Because your common sense will be having n number of solutions. I agree with all of them, provided they come into some kind of decision, provided they follow some kind of logic. So when you do that, you got to trust yourself. You're good enough. So please remember that. Now we come down to situation number 10. They were traveling by train when one of compartments caught fire. He saw people trying to jump off. Now you are traveling in a train and one of the compartments caught fire. People are jumping out. What are you going to do? First stop them, because if they jump out, they probably will injure themselves. But how will you save them? You will have to move them to a place where there is no fire. Then what are you going to do? You always know that there is a chain by which we can stop the train. Okay, done. That the chain is also in that fire zone. Then you have to somehow just go nearby where the compartment ends. There is a place where there is a vacuum pipe which you can disconnect. And once you disconnect, automatically the train will stop. Once it stops, you can help people get out. And thereafter, with the help of other people, control the fire. First, vacate the people so that they don't burn. They are not burned alive, or they are not burnt to a fatal condition. So now all these answers very clearly speaks that you are able to solve it. Now, when I'm giving these solutions, I'm giving a little elaborate. But when you'll have to write in 1.5 sentences or so. You got to practice that. But why am I exploring the answers? Very clear, all of you here. Remember, it is only to open your mind, to make your common sense full and fine, to make it fluid, to make it ready for any solution whatsoever. So I hope you can understand that. Coming down to situational leadership program, SRT Lemon 11. Why do we call it situational leadership program? Because anybody who is able to handle situation very nicely ought to be a leader. And leader means a person who can really find the problem, who can lead to the solution. So here we talk about it. Now let's go at situation number 11. In a group discussion, some of the people were not agreeing with him, so he. Now, there are some people who have been well pampered, well taken care of the parents. So as a result of which they basically do not like opposition. If somebody does not agree, they tend to get aggressive. Why is it so? There are two conditions. Number one, when it is perpetuated, somebody has troubled to the extent that they brought the downfall. So there may be a person who may be frustrated, but well, that does not apply to you guys. So when it applies to you guys, it is very clear that you are youngsters. So you should have been able to really, you would not have gone into that perpetuation level. You must have had normal pampering. You must have had always agreement and support by parents. So if you at that time become agitated on disagreement, that clearly shows that you don't have the maturity. Now, here we go. In a group discussion, some of the people were not agreeing with him. So in a group discussion, somebody are not agreeing with you, what are you going to do? You should take a back seat, sit down, listen to what they're saying, identify what are the elements of their talks, identify what are your elements, convince your points if they are logical, agree with their point if they are logical, and come to a common conclusion. How beautiful it is. You know that silence will give you an opportunity to identify what is to be connected. Now, some people say they are talking something wrong. So how can I agree with you? Okay. But when you will become silent and they will get a complete run, that is, they will get to speak completely, they automatically will realize that their communication or their viewpoint is wrong. So at that point, they themselves are correct. So remember, that is very important for all of you to understand, that when people particularly get an opportunity to speak, they realize what they are speaking. But when you counter them, they, instead of realizing what they are speaking, they try to counter you. So it is better to keep silent, let them speak, listen to the point. If it's logical, agree a portion of it. If you are logical, convince your portion. If you are illogical, correct yourself. Nothing wrong with it. And thus you can come to an agreement. So I am trying to explain you because you can understand the whole perspective. Now we come down to situation number 12. He fell seriously ill just before his examination. I've always seen that there are some people, when they become ill before the examination, what they do is they make up issue that I was not well. So I basically don't want to give exam. Why are you looking for excuses? You may have been seriously ill. Take proper medication. Try to recover faster. While you're lying down on the bed, try to revise your things. Try to listen to your classes. Try to read via others reading, or whatever you can do, read the book also. And then go and give the examination. Now this is something which we call as the fighter spirit. But there are some people who are surrendering. So they take it as an excuse and they say that I will give the examination next time, or they say that I will apply for leave, whatever. The point is, what are they checking? They're checking your fighting spirit, and you should be having it. After all, you're youngsters, you are generation tomorrow, You are the citizens of the nation tomorrow. So you got to be a fighter, you got to survive, you got to be a winner. Now we come down to situation number 13. There was a rush at the platform and the train was about to start, but the coolie carrying his luggage could not be traced. Now, when they're saying there is a rush at the platform, the train is about to start, but the coolie carrying his luggage could not. Now, here they are identifying how's your perspective. Again, negative and positive. If you believe that coolie is taken off too early, you are on the negative thought process because it has not been decided. But if you believe that he is there, it's okay, positive. But that also has to be practical. So what are you going to do if there is not to be traced? How are you going to trace him? Probably stand on the top of the steps of the compartment so that you can get the elevation to watch. Identify the coolie, help him get the luggage and carry on, number one. Number two, move to a location where you can identify. Number three, worst come worst scenario, find that he's still not traceable, then rush up to the railway authority, tell them the coolie badge number, and thereafter report the matter and go by the next train. You can do that. But the first thing is, first come first should be positivity. So here we are talking about, it's a simple situation, but your perception, the way you think, the way you imagine, the way you solve is to be taken into account. Now we come down to situation number 14. He had gone for mountaineering with his friends and the leader chose a rather steep track which was slippery. It was extremely cold and one of the person in your group slipped into a crevice. Crevice means a deep valley. What will you do? First come first. There are many people in their life, whenever they find somebody has done a mistake, they keep complaining and they keep blaming the person. There are some people who agree that okay, must have been, now let's look at solution. So first thing, you should go and help the person out of the crevice. Then you're going to help him if he's injured, fatally wounded, rush him for medical attention. Then come back to the group. Now you know that the track is slippery, be more careful. Or if the leader decides to go by another track, go by it. But there are some people who, when trouble comes, they instead of solving the trouble, they start complaining about the trouble, they start cursing. We are not looking at it. We are looking at your positivity to solve the problem, to take precautions. Yes, what is the point to surrender? You know that the track is slippery, go carefully. If the leader changes the track, well and fine, go by the another one. So we are trying to explain you, your attitude has to be proper in this condition. And I believe that if you have the right approach, you will get the right solution. Language can be always practiced. As I told you, in PDF, your answer is there, you can pick it up. But explaining is to open your mind, to revise your mind, to revise your intelligence, to revise your confidence. Now we come down to the last one, SRT 14. SRT 15. Whenever his opinion differs from that of others, he will. Whenever you have an opinion differ from others, what are you going to do? You're going to take out a gun and force the opinion of the other? Or you're going to listen to the other points? Or you're going to aggressively communicate your point? Or you are going to surrender to them? No. Whenever your opinion differs, you got to have a patience. You got to listen to the other's point. If it's logical, accept some portion of it. If you have some logical points, express that to the other person, and this way come to some kind of common conclusion. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. So whenever you have opinion which is different from others, what are you going to do? You're going to keep silent, listen to their opinion, identify what is it, identify the situation, identify the relevance of the opinion to the situation, thereafter agree to it. Now you will say, sir, such a long answer, can we answer? Of course not. I am explaining, you got to cut size your answer into minimum words so that you can write 1.5 liner. At least 1 line for sure, and 1.5 max or maximum 2 lines. Not more than that, because otherwise you won't be able to cover up a lot of situations. So I believe you are getting an idea. We are trying to open your mind. There is full possibility where that people will not agree to your opinion, but in that case you cannot be against them. You got to take them into strides, and this is the way you can solve the problem. So I hope you got the point. Of course, the PDFs are available for examples and answers. But I would like that you come up with your new answers. You pick suggestions, you open your mind, and so that if the interviewer queries you more, you are able to answer it. I hope all of you in the back seat also remember that. Okay, students, continuing with the situational leadership program, we are going to talk about SRT number 16. What does it read? He had to go to the city from his village to take his examination, but due to unexpected floods, the train services have been suspended. Now they are asking you that they have to go for an examination. You know, examination is important for every student. You can very well say that. You understand that, right? Now, there is a flood, then what are you going to do? There are some people, as I told you, they don't look for solution, they surrender. They believe that it is all over. No, you should always look at the solution. There is floods, but you will have to look if there is a possibility of reaching anyhow, probably via boat or any other source, or in that case, if they know that the examination is there, the train services is suspended, then go by other services, or there may be area from where they can go without getting affected by flood. So you have to look at solutions. However, in the worst come worst scenario, you can inform the authorities and give the examination next. But what should your effort should be there in multiple directions before going for the last option. So this is one of the way to write it, so that it shows that you have such kind of tendency to make efforts. There can also be one more tendency which I'll tell you, that is called proactive. That is, if you know that the examination is happening and there is already the floody condition is becoming, so move ahead in time to place where the floods does not affect you and give the examination. That can also be written. So there can be a proactive approach, then there can be on the spot solution finding approach, and this is the way you can solve many things. Okay, now let's go down to the next. So SRT number 17. The money which his father used to send every month was no more sufficient for his need, therefore. Now, the money which his father is sending is not sufficient. So what are you going to do? In that case, what you're going to do is that you're going to take it as a situation which you have to solve. How will you do that? Number one, budget your plan so that you can think how to manage within that money. However, if you still have problems, then you can pick up some part-time teaching process, maybe. Or if you find that your father can afford some little money, you can request him. But do go by economical replanning so that you can save money and live within those resources. Now, what is this economical management? Economical management is actually your planning tendency, your ability to handle a situation within the means. Rather than becoming flamboyant or in terms of expensive, in terms of wastage, you should avoid this. So that's exactly what they're looking at. They're looking at how you will solve the problem. That's very important. So I think this will be a very important thing, the way you can approach it. I will always suggest that you can say that, yes, he will replan his budget, probably solve from that. But still, if it is required, then in that case, he may take a part-time job. Third, in case father can afford, take a little extra, but thereafter be watchful not to expend more. All these answers I've already explained to you. Hope the thought process, the tendency is clear to you. Now we go down to this situation number 18. He was not getting along well with his new classmates, and therefore now you are not getting well, so what are you going to do? You're going to have patience. You've got to be sustaining your relations. You have to understand the others. You have to respect the others. And once you do that, then automatically your relationship recoups. It gets back into shape. And then what you do is you are able to handle it. So little patience, little understanding, more respect to the other will always link you up. So you can say that is how you're going to do it. However, also participate in different activities with them, thus create a bridge with them and solve the miscommunications or the distance, whatever you want to say. Now we come down to situation number 19. Now he and his friends were to put up a variety show that evening for the visiting Minister of State. Unexpectedly, his friend's father, who was already ailing, became serious. Now what are they trying to show? That you are doing a job, very important job, and suddenly one of the crucial partner is required at a different situation. Now, there are some people who are dependent on others. There are some people who tend to be self-dependent. They tend to have the freedom or the courage to manage independently. That's exactly what they're trying to check. So if your friend's father has become serious, immediately send friend back to take care of his father. Along with it, send some more friends to help him. But what else to do? You yourself go and do that, variety show in front of the minister nicely. And once it's all over, then you can come back to your friend's help by the side of his father. So this way you can solve this. Now we come down to situation number 20. Being the last year's champion of the state table tennis, he was too confident of victory. Now this is not too, T-O-O. Too confident of victory in this year's matches. But when he lost the first game to his opponent, he will. Now it happens. You are confident. You tend to be very, very superfluous. You want to rush up. You believe that you will be the champion. But if there is a match which shakes you up, you don't have to panic. You have to become composed. And thereafter, with the help of strategy, strike back. That's exactly what happens even in the war. When the opponents are trying to win, you keep yourself composed, reorganize, create a better strategy and strike back. That's exactly what they are looking at. So if you also say this, that at that moment be calm, composed, change the strategy, become more organized, be more careful and fight back in the match and win the match. That can be a good answer. I hope you're clear with all these 5. Let's go ahead with the other. Okay, dear students, continuing on with situational leadership program, which I want to tell you, talk about SRT number 21. Once he was steering a boat in the sea when all of a sudden storm came. Now look at this. What are they trying to do? They're trying to put you in a stressful condition. You're on a boat and a storm is coming. Now what is happening? It's unmanageable for a boat, right? But if you use your wisdom, if you use your patience, if you use your courage, it is manageable. So what you can say that, okay, he will keep his cool, keep his calm, thereafter take all the necessary precautions for the storm, as he has learned from different sources that the boat should be not in the opposition of the storm, but in the same side as the wind is blowing, so that they can bear the storm and the storm does not harm them by going in opposition. You can show this common sense and you can write it down, and thereafter carefully be alert, take all the precautions of wearing the life jacket or whatever you think, so that in case the storm overthrows you, you are back to climb back into the boat. All these point of thought process you can show. You can show that even in that stress, you're able to think and you're able to react very composedly, very rightly and very intelligent. Now let's go down to situation number 22. So when we go down to situation number 22, he was watching the river flowing fast under the bridge when he suddenly noticed a man desperately fighting with the current. Now this is not desperately, it is desperately. DES. Never mind. All these small clerical issues can be solved later, but you can understand. Now what is it? What do you mean by fighting the current? That means the person is literally drowning. Is in the current, in the water current, it is trapped there. So what are you going to answer? As he is watching under the bridge, when he suddenly noticed the man, so what he will do is, he will immediately see how he can save the man. Probably if he is standing in the bridge and if the person is coming in that side, they can throw a rope to save the man, or they will alert the people nearby to help with the boat, or inform the fishermen about the person, or you yourself know swimming and you're a very good swimmer at it, then you can jump and later on from the back catch hold of the man, you can write. But provided if you are not into that, I always believe that being in a fantasy world is not fair. Being in a practical world of the right precautions is much better, and it speaks enormous about your imagination in a practical manner. So write that. I'm sure you will be able to give a good answer. So you should try to save the man, that is understood. Now we come down to situation number 23. So what does 23 situation? His elder brother wanted to celebrate the death of their very old father, but he felt otherwise. Now why would you celebrate the death of your father? Only when you think that, okay, the father was blocking things. But what will you do otherwise? You'll mourn. Mourn means you will be sad. There are some times when your brother may be feeling negative about the father and wants to celebrate. That's not fair. both ways, for the past soul and now nevertheless also for your brother, because that will affect his social image and social respect. So you can convince your brother not to do so because of the social respect, also because of father's soul, and this way stop him and tell him that let him complete the morning, thereafter do whatever you wish. So now this is good answer, this is good convincing attitude, good attitude towards authority, the person who has gone, and seems that you are intelligent to react positively. So this is one of the answers. You can come up with n number of answers, but still be logical, be sensible, be well balanced, be disciplined. Let's go down to situation number 24. Now situation number 24, it was midnight when he was awakened by a man's shriek. Shriek means shouting. He found one poor farmer was being beaten up by 4 fellows with lathis. Now when you get up in the night and somebody is shouting for help, there are 4 people trying to beat a man, what are you going to do? Naturally you're going to go there and save the person. Now there are some people who will be afraid of the person. They will think, why should I go and get into the row of others? This is unfortunate. You should be sympathetic for the person. Agreed. Now there are 4, so going singularly there and challenging them is not possible. So you can collect more people and you can go and stop them with the help. Also call police if required. Now this way you can save it. Understood that the man must have done some mistake. Tell him to not take the law in their hand. Tell him to go down to the police. Whatever it is. But stop this nuisance or stop this atrocity against the old man. Yes, or a poor farmer to be precise. Whatever it is. Is it clear? So this way your logical answers will sound that you know how to react rightly at the right place. Then we come down to situation number 25. He woke up in a running train to find all his luggage missing. Now you are in a running train. That means the train is not stopped. So maybe the luggage is still in the train. So what are you going to do? With the help of friends, search the train. Find out the luggage. Look carefully for every place. Inform the railway authorities. Inform the other people. Keep a watch on it. And in case the train stops nearby, wherever it is, be watchful on immediately inform the railway authorities in advance, giving the description so that they can cover the luggage. Worst come worst scenario, the luggage has gone amiss. Then in that case, in the next station, file a FIR and tell about your luggage. And later on, using that FIR, try to recover your luggage, or at least be aware that you can get duplicate copies of certificates or other thing if you have lost in the luggage. So this way, your sensible attitude, first positively and thereafter covering the negative with precaution. That is what we are expecting out of you. So I hope these all 25 situations will come clear to you. Your logical answers are required. I'm not telling you something very out of the world. I'm telling you simple, common sense and logical things so that you can develop your self-confidence by being logical and commonsensical. I'm just rebrushing or refreshing your knowledge. Got it? So I hope you will come up with it. Dear students, coming down to situational leadership program, SRT number 26. What do you do in this? It is written, he was returning alone from a midnight show when he spotted behind a group of trees 2 gundas. Now this is not goodness, gundas. Please correct. There has been a mistake here. I'd like to correct it here so that you guys can understand that very clearly. Just a second. Okay, so this is not goodness, this is gundas. Gundas means negative elements. Behind blindfolding a lady. So what is it? They have shown that there are a situation, he was coming late when he's found this condition. What are you going to do? Well, whatever little resources you have, you're coming from a late night show. So automatically there will be other people, so you can take their help and try to help the lady. Necessary, inform the police. Now from a distance you are finding that this is there, you can do nothing much. At least you can do stone pelting. You can throw stones and discourage the person. Also inform the police, delay their action so that you can save the lady. And once you are also there, the lady is also there, or another person comes, you are in stronger number, you will be able to scare the gundas, and as the police will arrive, you can hand over them. So now this is a imaginative situation. But what are we looking at? We are looking at the way you practically try to act on the situation. Do you run away from the situation? Do you ignore the situation, or do you try to handle the situation? And when you handle the situation out intelligently, you handle, that's exactly what they're looking at. So when you do that, they're going to look at it. So if they are gundas, never mind, you can really try to make your best efforts. So this is a probable condition, but by this, they'll come to know your attitude towards situations. Now let's come back to, just a second, let me get back. Okay, now let's come back to situation number 27. He was made captain of the tug of war team, and the match was to be held the very next day. Now tug of war means rope pulling. So he is supposed to get ready for it. So what are you going to do in that? You know, in the tug of war, you have to plan your situation. Who's coming in the front, who's coming in the back, who's going to pull. The stronger person will be in the back also. There will be shorter person will be closer. All these kind of strategies you make so that you win. So you can write that. We will organize our team in such a way, practice it with the help of pulling a tree, applying a force, or probably with other people, and by pulling a weight. This way, get into the habit of how you will handle. And then when the tug of war takes place, you're going to do it with the best of strategy and best of energy to win the war. So now this is a beautiful thing which you can learn. Tug of war, as I've told you, this what do we call in Hindi, rassa kisi, or otherwise pulling of the rope from one side and the other side. Now let's come back to situation number 28. He and his friends were going for an afternoon walk on a cold, windy day. Suddenly, two men surrounded his friend and started removing his wristwatch. Now you are two people, they are two people, and he started removing his wristwatch. What are you going to do? Of course, go to his help. If those people are a little weak, overpower them. If they are strong and you're finding that you two will not be there, then call for others' help. Use other strategies. Discourage the person from doing so. Then suppose the person takes out some kind of knife or other thing, then in that case you can show wisdom that in that case we will surrender the watch and report the matter to the police. We are not looking at foolish bravery. We are looking at intelligent actions. We are looking at bravery. We don't want you to surrender, but you also don't want you to be foolish to attack or foolish to go for a challenge where you have no chance of winning and you have full chances of losing or probably causing a severe loss. So here you can give a good answer. I hope it is clear. Now we come down to situation number 29. During the examination, he felt that some of the questions were too difficult for him to answer. He will. See, there have been a number of situations for everyone while they're having difficult answers. So what they do, they don't surrender. They automatically think that, okay, what I can answer, I'm doing it. First, do all those questions which you can answer. Thereafter, in the difficult ones, systematically remembering the formula, one by one, try to solve maximum possible. This way, you are never a loser. And many a time when you come across a difficult question, but if you use your analytical mind and use the formula properly, possibly you are able to solve it. There is a possibility that you may not be able to do as many you wanted, but you will be able to do considerably. So do that. The effort matters. So remember, don't give up. Now we come down to situation number 30. One night when his parents were away to their village, his younger brother developed high fever, became unconscious. Now, parents are away. There are some people who do not act because parents are away, authorities are away, so what can I do? No, you have to take up the challenge, you have to come forward, and you should. So you can give the answer that in case they're not there and younger brother develops fever, he will take care of him, give him the necessary medication, do the necessary patti, I think you must have learned, or putting a bandage on the head to remove the, to reduce the temperature, to reduce the fever. Do that. And thus take care of your brother, give him the necessary medication possible. And when also inform the parents after doing the needful. And then you can, when they come back, then take him to the doctor if necessary. Now this kind of thing shows that in emergency you don't panic, you think of solutions. You are able to handle. You are not scared, but you are trying to solve. So I hope this is very clear to you. Now these few SRTs will start by five SRTs which we are covering. You'll be able to open your mind. You'll be able to understand us. You'll be able to understand yourself. Again, I am repeating that I am not telling you something out of the world. I am telling you something which is commonsensical, logical. and systematic, so that you can open your confidence, you can be free to express yourself, but be aware that your giving up is not the solution, you are solving the solution. Thank you very much.